Hello and welcome to Nutrition for a Healthy Spine Part 1. We are going to start by looking at the fundamentals of nutrition. We are going to set the scene for a healthy diet by firstly looking at the importance of hydration, followed by the importance of sleep. But who am I? My name is Helen Everett and I run a business called Mission Nutrition. I'm a certified nutrition coach and a qualified fitness instructor. I'm passionate about helping clients not just to become healthier and decrease their risk of disease, but also to have a healthy relationship with food. So my philosophy is balance, not punishment. Balance in nutrition, balance in exercise, not punishment. I firmly believe that no food is off limits. Everything in moderation. Moderation and balance are key. BMI and our spines. BMI stands for Body Mass Index. As nutritionists, when looking at a population of people, BMI can be really useful. We have to use our critical thinking skills and understand that if we're looking at a rugby player with a large volume of muscle mass, BMI may not be the best indicator of their health in that instance, as it will more likely show that they are overweight or obese. But in the general population, BMI is a really good indicator of somebody's health. My aim as a nutritionist is for everybody to be in the BMI healthy range. That just means that their risk of disease is lowered. How does that impact our spines? So our spines are designed to carry the body's weight and distribute the loads encountered during rest and activity. Being overweight or obese or morbidly obese can significantly contribute to symptoms associated with all of these diseases. So I'm going to set the scene by talking about the fundamentals of nutrition. How can we get into a healthy BMI range? I'm going to start off by talking about macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates and fats. Protein. Protein is meat, fish, legumes, pulses, lentils, eggs, and protein comes from the Greek word proteos, meaning primary or first place. It is required for the growth and maintenance of tissues and muscles. Our body's protein needs are dependent upon our health and our activity level. Around 15% of a person's body weight is protein. So, 1 gram of protein yields 4 calories, which is exactly the same as carbohydrates and very different to fat, where 1 gram of fat yields 9 calories. A great benefit of protein is that it's satiating. Have you ever had that feeling where you eat a big steak and it sits in your stomach for a very, very long time and you feel full for a very, very long time because it takes so long to digest? That's a great example of protein keeping us fuller for longer. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates we can group into 2 different groups: simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. The simple carbohydrates, I'm looking at the picture and can see the bagels, the bread, the croissants, the pasta, the milk products. Simple carbohydrates are broken down quickly. These are our sugars. They deliver energy really quickly. Complex carbohydrates, the starches and the fibres, the fruits and the vegetables and the whole grains. These complex carbohydrates release energy slowly because the fibres in them take longer for us to digest, longer to go through our systems. Carbohydrates turn into glucose and are used for fuel. Glucose is stored as glycogen in both our muscles and our liver. We can store around 2,000 calories of glycogen. As I said before, carbohydrates yield 4 calories per gram. We talk about calories being sparse or dense. The calorie-sparse food products are the ones that are high in starches and fibres. your fruits and your vegetables. The calorie-dense products are the sugars, the breads, the croissants. Fibrous carbohydrates, as I said, the fibre makes these foods more satiating, keeping us fuller for longer as they take longer to digest. And finally, we're looking at fat. We need fat. Fat helps us absorb nutrients. There are 4 different vitamins that are fat-soluble vitamins, so we need fat to help absorb them. Fat helps us produce hormones. Fat yields 9 calories per gram, a lot more than protein and carbohydrates, more than double. Some fats are good fats, so monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats. These lower the risk of heart disease, LDL cholesterol and increase HDL. Saturated fats, these tend to be solid at room temperature, usually from animal sources, whereas monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats tend to be liquid at room temperature, like vegetable oils, rapeseed oils, etc. So, how do we consume these different macronutrients? I often go through something called hand portion control with my clients. So, for 3 plates of food, 3 meals a day, on each plate, we can think about having a palm-sized amount of protein. I generally think about a chicken breast size. A level cupped handful of starchy carbohydrates, our pastas, our rice and our bread. And this usually comes as a surprise to people, as it's not very much. And a thumbful of fat. Again, that's not very much either. People are taken by surprise, especially when we have to take into account the fat that we cook with, that we roast our vegetables in, the fat that appears on the rinds and the meat. And then fistfuls of carbohydrates. 1 fistful is 1 portion of fibrous carbohydrates. These are our fruits and our vegetables. So as you can see, we don't need to cut any macronutrients out of our diet. We just need to be aware of which portion sizes we have and which proportions we have of them on our plate. I always say to people, if you've gone through hand portion control and you're still hungry, focus on the lean protein and numerous fistfuls of carbohydrates. Fibrous carbohydrates, our fruits and our vegetables. The importance of hydration. So our bodies are 60 to 70% water. Being hydrated allows nutrients to travel to the major organs of the body and helps us remove waste. Being hydrated maintains function in our joints. Intervertebral discs consist largely of water. Being hydrated is really important for our spine health. Being hydrated plays an important role in maintaining a healthy body weight, which can improve our back health too. As being dehydrated, it negatively affects our cognitive function. It impairs our bodily functions, our ability to burn fat and repair tissues, and causes lethargy. Often when we're lethargic, when we're tired, we search for external sources of energy, usually biscuits or cake or crisps and things like that. So actually being dehydrated can negatively affect our weight as well. A hydration calculator. This is a really great guide to work out how much we should be drinking per day. So it's our body weight in kilograms multiplied by 28. That is the amount of millilitres we should be consuming a day. It's a rough estimate. So if you're doing this right now and it's come up with a crazy number that's really, really far away from what you're consuming, increase it gradually. Increase it by 1 cup per day for a week, and then the following week increase it by another cup. So how can we increase our hydration? It's not just chugging from water bottles constantly until we feel unwell. We can do it gently, we can do it gradually. We can decide to pick, when we get a glass of water, the largest cup we can find. cups of tea, cups of coffee, everything is going to hydrate us. Everything apart from shots of alcohol. So water bottles in our bags, on our desks, in the car. We can set reminders on our phone, on our smartwatches, and of course, eating more fruit and vegetables, knowing that these contain water too. Sleep. So, we know that lack of sleep impairs our cognitive function. It has a massive impact on our tissues being able to repair. And it affects our decision-making abilities. Trying to make a decision when you're desperately tired, we don't always make the best decision available. Tiredness, as I said, in terms of lethargy, with being dehydrated, tiredness causes us to look for an external source of energy, like biscuits. And in doing so, that can impact our BMI. We know that we want to be a healthy BMI, and that is what is going to give us a healthier spine. The effects of caffeine. As I said, caffeine, everything is hydrating. But if we're finding that we're not sleeping very well, we're getting disturbed, or we can't get off to sleep, we're restless and wakeful, what time do you finish your last cup of coffee, your last caffeinated drink, your last cup of tea? Caffeine in some people has a half-life of 6 to 8 hours, and it's cumulative in our system. So if we have a cup of coffee with 80 milligrams of caffeine in it at midday, by 6 p.m, 8 p.m, we'll still have 40 milligrams left in us. And that's if we haven't topped it up already or had caffeine before then as well. So I'd usually say to clients, if you are struggling with sleep, try to cut back on caffeine. Perhaps have your last cup of coffee by midday at lunchtime and drink decaffeinated drinks or water after lunch. When we are cutting down on caffeine, I'd always say do it really gradually. So decrease it or substitute it with a decaf by 1 cup a day for a couple of weeks and then decreasing it slowly. So, the take-home points for a healthy spine. Eat a varied diet. Nothing is off limits. I say to my clients to eat a rainbow, knowing that each fruit and each vegetable that is a different colour has a different nutrient makeup in it. Different nutrients, different vitamins and different minerals. So if we can eat a rainbow of fruits and vegetables and whole grains, then we are setting ourselves up to be as healthy as possible. Have a healthy BMI. We know that being overweight carries risks in terms of our joint and our spine health. Stay hydrated. Our joints are a lot better when they're hydrated and lubricated. And get adequate sleep. Give yourselves the best chance to make great decisions around food.